Evet, merhabalar TESPAM takipçileri ve ASPÜ ile ortak düzenlediğimiz Doğu Akdeniz etkinliğinin bugün öğleden sonraki online oturumuna başlatmış bulunuyoruz. Hocam, Nurşin Hocam ve Tabiatan Yıldız Hocam ve Lisan hocalarımız bize bu panelde konuşmacı olarak katılacaklar. Ben tekrar konuklarımıza hoş geldiniz diyorum. Hoş geldiniz Sayın Hocam.
Merhabalar, duyabiliyor musunuz hocam?
Merhabalar, duyuyoruz. Evet, sesiniz geliyor. Buyurun. Evet, Nurşin Hocam, siz hoş geldiniz. Wissam, you welcome. Sesim geliyor değil mi? Evet. Sesim geliyor değil mi?
Sesinizi duyuyoruz Ali Bey.
Tamam. Peki, ilk konuşmacımız Tabiat Hocamızla başlıyoruz. Tabiattan Yıldız Hocamız bize bugün Geopolitics of Energy in EastMed başlığımızda olan bu panelimizde Doğu Akdeniz'deki son gelişmeler, Doğu Akdeniz'deki işbirlikleri ve jeopolitikle ilgili bir sunum yapacaklar. Ben tekrar hoş geldiniz diyor. Tabiattan hocamız, sözü, mikrofonu size bırakıyorum.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ali. I appreciate for that. I'd like to share my screen. I'll just click the press button and share the screen. Share screen. Share.
At the bottom, you see the present, and there is the share screen. But yeah. I think you may not do that.
Well, I try to click first, and then I think I will click the slides. No.
Yes.
Your computer. Slide sharing tips. We currently upload the file.
Did you upload?
I want to show directly my screen. I think
you don't have that choice.
Really? No, we have it. We have it. I think. Yeah, I can share. I think you can see my screen now. Can you? No.
No, we can't.
Okay. In that case, that's okay. What I will do?
You can upload the presentation.
Yeah, I am gonna do it now. In 1 second, I'll do it. Let me just make the PDF file.
Or you can send it to us. We can upload it during your presentation.
Okay, I'll send it to the WhatsApp to you, or
okay.
1 second. 1 second. Let me do it. Hold on a second. It's easy. Export. Almost done. I'm going to talk about hydrocarbon potential and a bit more technical things, you know, exploration challenges, etc., etc. Now, let me try to actually, I would say, slides. Sorry, present, share screen. It doesn't work actually. Share. I mean slides. So your computer, upload a file. 1 second. I go there. Then I'm going to upload it right now.
Hello, you know, Tabiat, I've tried, you know, in the window of the studio, there is a present button.
Yes.
And then you share screen,
but
and then you go to window. You go to window.
Okay.
And share the window of your presentation, because
I did
you should
it.
see the window there.
Okay, I say share screen. Okay, then done. Okay, I go to window. Then I say, okay, share the screen. Share. I'm sharing it actually right now.
Yes, you should see it.
Yeah.
It's not coming.
Is it coming? I mean, because I share my screen.
Then you can move it to the right. There is a 3 tab at the top. At the right side, it is the full screen.
Okay, let me do it. I'm gonna do slides and actually your computer and upload a file. Let's do upload a file.
Yeah, we got
I
it.
think.
Yeah, that's it.
Can you see it? It's our screen or what?
Yes, we now see it.
You can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, in that case, it's great. So let me put my presentation. This is not the presentation. Hold on a second. Okay. What do you see right now? Do you see this slide? East Mediterranean hydrocarbon?
No, it's your screen now.
Okay. Do you see right now like this?
No, we just see your screen.
You see my screen?
Not PDF.
Yes, we see the screen, the whole screen.
Strange.
But you've clicked on window. There should be the other window of the presentation if it's open. If you open the presentation,
Can you see my screen right
Yes,
now?
we see.
we can
Yes.
see. I guess, but
You see
we see
East
the
Mediterranean
screen.
hydrocarbon?
No.
No,
Wow.
we see the full screen with the icons below. So the window is
Strange.
not
I have.
open. The window for presentation.
If you provide us your presentation, we can put it on the screen.
Okay. Let me do it. Let me send it on the WhatsApp. Okay.
Yeah.
Stop sharing. I stop sharing. Now you don't see anything. Let me send it to you.
Yes. Nurşin Hocam, do you see me?
Merhaba. Yeah, I do see you. Thank you. And I can hear you as well. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome back again.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay.
I think you have it now. I sent it over WhatsApp.
No. Okay. Yeah. Yes, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you can start your presentation. We will upload it during your speech.
But you don't see my screen. I mean, nobody sees the screen now yet.
We see our program at the screen.
Mm-hmm.
We see only our beautiful faces.
You can start. It will be ready in a few seconds.
Well, actually, everything is on the slides. You see, Ali Bey. I mean, I need to see the slide because it's a technical presentation that I want to show a little bit about the seismic and what's going on, you know, on the East Mediterranean regarding the blocks and all these assets, etc., just to give the flavor of current conditions. It's 6 megabyte. I think you should receive it. Yeah,
it's uploading. Just a few seconds.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Geopolitics of energy in EastMed. I send it there.
Okay, you see it in screen, I think.
I can see it, yeah. Okay. Again, thank you very much for this opportunity, Nurşin Hocam and Wissam. And I'd like to talk briefly about the hydrocarbon potential and exploration challenges. I want to give a little bit information about myself. Can you go to the next slide, please? Because you control, yeah. My name is Tabiat Tan Yıldız, and I have undergraduate, Istanbul Technical University, master and PhD, and I work actually in TPAO for 7 years, and also 14 years for Schlumberger. And currently, I'm a lecturer in Middle East Technical University, and also I'm the field development director for Nafto Energy. So next slide, please. Ali Bey, can you click the next slide? Yeah.
I'm trying, but it's blocked. This time it's related with my screen.
It's okay. We always have this kind of, you know, unexpected challenges.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
okay.
So we will talk about a little bit, the Eastern Mediterranean geological setting play concept and multi-client seismic data. There's a huge amount of seismic data in this region, and hydrocarbon activity slightly we'll talk about it. And I want to talk a little bit summary and recommendation so that we can close up. Next slide, please. So East Mediterranean, this is a simple bathymetry and the seafloor maps. As you can see on the right side, the satellite seafloor map, there's a huge amount of up and dips and different kind of main mountainous area. The geological settings, because of the deposition area, is highly active. So that creates a huge exploration potential for the existing offshore platforms. Next slide, please. We have quite a few slides. So in the East Mediterranean, if we look at it, actually, the structural setting, we have 3 plates. They're surrounded by Euro-Asian plate from the north, and African plate from the south, and Arabian plate from the east. But structurally, East Mediterranean generally affected by rifting extension region from the Triassic, Middle Jurassic, and the spreading from the Upper Jurassic. But the lower Cretaceous, because this is called, Paleocene, Cretaceous, and as well the Triassic ages, northwest and the northwest and southwest is transformed faults. And as you can see, there are many main faults along with the age differences, especially in the Arabian and the African plate separation on the Levant, northeast, southwest anticline structures can create a compression from Oligocene to Miocene. What I want to say is here, actually, all Mediterranean, but specifically in the East Mediterranean, is very active in terms of the structural setting. And this creates a huge uncertainty on the exploration area. Next slide, please. Yeah. Let's look at the stratigraphy and the play concept for the East Mediterranean. The source is multiple, deep, shallow, bio and the thermogenous gases, we can have it. Reservoir is multiple again, deep, shallow. I'll show you some example. Clastic carbonates. The seal, one of the most important parameter, which is the seal, again is multiple, but generally shale or tight carbonates and the evaporates. Trap, mostly it's stratigraphically traps, but structural along with combine. Migration is lateral, sometimes vertical through the faults. So it's a bit conceptually complicated stratigraphy and the play concept, but when we look at all the legendary seismic data, it is easy to determine the potential prospects. Next slide, please. As you can see, main hydrocarbon fields and the plays. We can easily look at it. Bardawi Trend, 10 TCF. Yeah, almost 9 TCF in the Middle Miocene. Glacius, Exxon, Calypso, ENI. So this region is very, very active by the companies as well. Zohur, ENI. So especially the Zohur field is one of the fields that was taken as an example by Sakarya project because they have finished it, if I'm not wrong, 15 or 18 months. So as you can see, in the Miocene, Paleocene play, and also on the age of the early age of the Miocene play, there's a huge amount of gas initially in place are discovered and determined, especially this Levatine, Nobel 10 is 17 TCF. I'll show you later what is the total potential of the main hydrocarbon plays in this region and how much is explored, how much needs to be explored. So this slide is just showing you the region is very active. There are many prospects, and those prospects are already determined, and also companies already have the necessary contract and the production sharing agreements, and they announced some of them officially, some of them unofficially, a huge amount of gas to be produced. Next slide, please. Again, this is one of the interesting slides as well. So multi-client seismic activities is huge. There are many different companies are doing the seismic activities because most of the time we think about, I mean, I would say Western GECO, but this is not real. I mean, there is WG, ION, PGS. So why I am telling that? Those companies have huge database at their level. These are 2D, 3D surveys, and then all of them are engaged with the client and is given services. So we have so many 2D and the 3D on the region. These red colors, especially on the Mediterranean Sea, as you can see, there's huge seismic activities by Egypt, Israel, Jordan, etc., etc. Next slide. So this is from the Israeli Ministry of Energy, the gas discoveries. Maria Noah in 2001, almost 2 TCF. Tamar, one of the biggest, 11 TCF. TCF means trillion standard cubic feet. So 11 trillion standard cubic feet. I mean, if we just make it like this one is, if we divide by 35, I would say, I mean, the quite amount of gas that we can talk about it, yeah, because this is noble energy. And 33%, 5 Israeli companies come together, 67%. Levitan, Tanin, Karish, these are the main gas discoveries. These are, I mean, the quite significant gas discoveries. Next slide, please. And this is the Israel offshore concession map. I mean, the second exploration production bid around. Yeah, they always go to the exploration and the production bid. They always look for the potential partnership with multinational companies. 5 zones, each of them including several blocks. I mean, totaling area up almost 1,600 square kilometers. They announced in, for example, 2018 November. They closed almost 1 year later, and the second bid round is almost 2 months later in 2019 August. So they're expecting to go to another bid in 2001, but that was a delay. So this was done in this year. Next slide, please. So this is another slide showing why the region is so active. This is these small dots on the right, on the left is the wells are drilled. So there is quite few number of wells already drilled on the offshore, and to just get the geological parameters and to understand the prospect extension and try to discover, of course, the production. These
is this the blue points?
Blue points are the wells drilled.
This is very related with the Gaza Strip.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, on the left, you see these square blocks. These are the 3D seismic survey. So when they shoot the seismic, they do the interpretation, and then they choose, a couple field well locations to drill and to actually understand if there's a potential or if there is a discovery or not. This is 32,000 square kilometers, is a quite big amount. I mean, they're quite big comparing to offshore in Black Sea. If I'm not wrong, we were talking about around 5,000 square kilometers. So next slide, please. This is another, regional seismic profile showing Miocene discoveries. Again, Aphrodite, Leviathan, Tamar, Dalit. This is quite, the significant reserves. But as you can see, the structure is pretty much faulty. The tectonism was, pretty much high over there, and stratigraphically, the seismic correlation has to be followed along with the parallel to the main tectonic mechanisms. Next slide. Again, one example as well. Just show you the submarine seismic data, and then seismic also interpreted in a way to show all the porous area. Yeah, because on the upper side shows where are the high permeable and high porous media, so that where the oil and gas could potentially accumulate it. These are all the sources. Most of them are public data. From different sources, from different authorities. Next slide. This is another good example. This is the Tamar Reservoir. Superior quality and the connectivity. What is most important is a clean sand, and permeability is almost 1 Darcy. 1 Darcy means it's like a plunge when we, take a shower. 1 Darcy is a crazy number. Generally, if you look at the fields in Turkey, we are talking about 100, 150 millidarcy. If we talk about Azerbaijan, for example, Azeri-Çıralı Güneşli oil field, which one well is giving you 30,000 barrel oil per day. We are talking about 600, 700 millidarcy. So for us, it's quite high. It's a natural gas. And the good thing is that more than 99% is methane. Why I am giving an information about this, there are many reservoirs, similar reservoirs close to Tamar. Could be on our side, yeah, East Mediterranean, just below the, on the south side of the Turkey, or on the southeast side of the Cyprus. So there's an excellent lateral and vertical connectivity, which makes more valuable. It means there's a long-term production and the healthy plateau that can actually, you know, support the surface facility. Next slide, please. This is Lebanon offshore. Again, I want to show you there are many blocks, and they wanted to go for the, you know, bid around, and the total many operatives, ENI, Novatek, those kind of companies, I mean, join to bid, because this is the process. The countries goes for the bid, and then they announce the data room visit. You go and visit the data room, and whatever makes you, you know, interested in, and you go for, and actually you bid for the potential block. Then you sign the PSA, and you start actually executing the minimum work program. Next slide, please. Again, this is the second bid round, and all big players is there, Total, ENI, yeah. And I hope that we will be very soon, I mean, we will see the TPIO in this region, because we have a great now learning curve experience on the offshore, along with the drill ships and the seismic ships. Next slide. This is, as you can see, I mean, the 2D seismic survey. There are many lines here, yeah. They have done the Geoparkla 93, Spectrum 2002, PGS. These are the companies that they do the seismic survey acquisition, when first shoot the seismic data, and then execute the data, acquire the data, and then do the interpretation. So next slide, please. Again, this is multi-client geophysical data from PGS, NEOS, because the point is here I'm trying to show is that any countries or any companies, they don't go for one service provider. They always want to double check, because 2011 was the actual time at that point. Now this data is legacy data. Today, if you go and shoot one of the seismic data in Mediterranean, 5 years later, it will be your legacy data. So we need to basically open an envelope and try to do different, you know, service providers. Next slide. Next slide, please, Ali Bey. This is again another seismic section that can show the, you know, depositional settings for the channels. It's a quite interesting seismic data. There are many faults I can see here, and also the interpretation of the seismic will potentially determine the field development program. Next slide. Again, this is Cyprus concession map. First bid was in 2006. I mean, Turkish North Cyprus have licensing blocks in 2011. There are a couple of disputes on the region, and because there is an overlap between the Cyprus and the TNC. Next slide. This is another illustration where are the companies are settling. Most of the time is Italian companies. ENI is there, Exxon is there, Shell is there. These are big players, and they know that there is a huge amount of accumulation. There's a huge reserve, and they actually do not hesitate to invest money for the data collection, data interpretation, etc., etc. On the right side, this is the source from TPIO 2011. There's quite big license that we have granted, and we need to really focus for the seismic. And then, of course, to the interpretation. One well can cost between $50 to $100 million, but the simple seismic acquisition, interpretation, and processing, and also paying attention for the support, you know, the domains, it will not cost more than $10, $15 million. Next slide, please. This is seismic exploration activities. There's quite few discoveries. Third-party licensing round blocks is ongoing. Open areas we have. And again, as I said, there are different seismic acquisition on each block. Next slide. This is another illustration. 3D seismic data, 2D seismic data, but we should shoot more because on this south side of the Cyprus, there's quite activities, but on the upper side, which actually is in our territory, we have to shoot pretty much, the good amount of seismic data. Next slide. This is the offshore drilling activities. Aphrodite, Calypso, and the Gallicus, and there's a quite amount of, the gas discovery. Next slide, please. Conclusion recommendations. I would say East Mediterranean is very complex geology, and it is considered very attractive exploration area. Estimated Eastern Mediterranean resource around 350 TCF, and already 150 TCF gas already discovered, and 200 TCF is remaining. East Mediterranean offshore is a frontier basins, and we need to understand this unexplored area because there's a huge amount of promising hydrocarbon potential. But seismic data processing technologies will mitigate the existing geological uncertainties. This is certain. Carbonate play will need well-conditioned seismic data. For the seismic, when you do it, and then we need to drill a couple of wells to tie the well data to seismic to correlate. Next slide, please. But what can we do, and why we should, how we should do it? Yeah, new seismic data acquisition and processing, reprocessing all the existing legacy data, basic historical data, well logs data processing, petrophysical evaluation, and connect all these well data to the seismic data, GNG studies, prospect evaluation, reserve estimation, risk analysis, different training courses, workshops, geological field trips for the companies, for TPIO, for example, for people. And also, we need to align ourselves with target key oil and gas companies, universities, to help pretty much monthly or bi-monthly SCOOT meetings, because we should keep the industry and the universities connections and the interconnect relations continuously. And also, very simple, we need to keep the subject always hot topic in energy ministry level and high-level political discussions, because this is money consumption area. But when you hit the target, there is a healthy cash flow for many years under the secure production sharing agreement can come through. I can say that in the North Sea, after 37 exploration well, they found the oil. Now North Sea is not a North Sea, but is a like North Oil Sea, we can call it. There's many platforms that they are producing. So appreciate for your time. I went through a little bit quick. This is just the last slide, just show the pipeline, how the Turkish geopolitics existing is important, and we can easily build this pipeline, and actually we can bring all this oil and gas all the way down through Turkey to the Europe. And thank you very much for listening, and appreciate for your time. It was quite fast. Apologize as well, because I have to join another meeting in the university. Sorry for that.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tan Hocam. You very briefly made us understand how the region can be discovered below the sea, and what we can do to develop these sites and make it economic for the region and the population who in that region. But there is something missed in the geopolitics, I think, because if we have the resources there and you have the maps, everything, but I think the geopolitics view of the issue is also related with the other problems which is raising in the recent days. Now, Nurshin Hocam, we thank you for your presentation, and I would like to give the floor to Nurshin Güney Hocam from Nişantaşı University. She is very kind to join us with this event. And Nurshin Hocam, can you briefly inform us about the latest geopolitics?
Ali Bey, thank you very much. Appreciate. I have to leave. Hocam, good luck in the presentation. Dr. Wissam, have a good day.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the promotion for offshore Lebanon. We hope to see TP soon in offshore Lebanon as well.
There's a great success, and there's a great potential. We'll take it off the record. I have some other data that I will share with you. Okay?
Yes. We share the same thoughts. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, it's good to make cooperation in the region, starting from this panel. Now I would like to give the floor to Nurshin Güney Hocam. Yes, Hocam. There is some opportunities Ms. Tan Hoca described in the last slides of his, but it's also very related with the diplomacy and the latest conflicts in the region. So, could you please describe us geopolitics of the region related with the recent view?
Okay, thank you very much for this kind invitation to this important panel. I would like to add my views that I have developed within the passage of few years. Do you hear me? Yes, I guess so. Okay, so the geopolitics of energy in EastMed is correlated directly what's happening in the region, especially in the last decade or so. And so we can divide this timeline starting with 2000 onwards up until to 2021, and then from 2021 until October 7th, where we have seen the outbreak of Hamas and Israeli war, and then the present situation where we are. So very briefly, actually, the previous presenter has already mentioned about what has happened until 2021. Once, this gas reserves findings came into being, especially with the first findings of Israel in Tamar and Leviathan region, and then again the disputed area below the Cyprus Island, Block 6. It was found by Southern Cyprus, which also was belonged to Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. In parentheses, I should make this clear that according to the constitution, we know that Southern Cyprus does not have any legal right to represent the North and making agreements or declaring exclusive economic zones on behalf of them and inviting private companies to do these explorations. So, closing the parentheses, this was the beginning of this maritime disputes between Greece, Southern Cyprus, Turkey, and TRNC. We know the long story, but Turkey both, tried to resist first diplomatic-wise, as along with international law, of course, to preserve legal rights in Eastern Mediterranean, since it has got the longest, coasts in Eastern Mediterranean compared to other states in this basin. And so, as along with her legal rights, she also tried to preserve the rights of TRNC, especially its illegal and given, access to the resources both below the sea and on the ground in Cyprus anywhere. So diplomatic-wise, as we all remember, there was this makeup of Sevilla map distributed in Spain, and then accordingly, we know that Turkey has tried to be contained to the Gulf of Antalya according to this map, and we know that again Turkey has applied to the UN to make clear its western continental shelf limits, and then once Turkey, as along with TRNC, has said that these gas reserves that have been found in EastMed, either along the Cyprus Island or within the continental shelf of Turkey, Turkey has a right to explore this, and she was against to the unilateral, declaration of these economic explosive zones by the Southern Cyprus, starting with 2003, 2007, and 2010, when the diplomatic means did not give any result in terms of positive way. Turkey has become obliged to sign an agreement with the TRNC, and that is how this licensing was given to TPOA, and since then she has started to sent her seismic and deep drilling ships to the region, to the EastMed, to make explorations. This has been met with quite resistance from both European Union countries as well as from some of the regional countries in this basin, Eastern Mediterranean. But she has not started fighting over her and TRNC's legal rights in terms of exploration of these gas fields. And this was also related with sovereignty in connection with, maritime rights. So to make long story too short, we know that, previously there were workings before 21 between Israel and Turkey to transport access gas reserves of Israel to Europe as an alternative. But due to the polarization that came to this region, especially it was the gas findings first at the beginning of 2000 thought to be triggered the rise of new Cold War era. And this has brought at the strategic level is the coming back a great power rivalry to this region. And we all remember Secretary of State of Pompeo at that time describing this EastMed as a strategic frontier for the US, and US, EU was, trying to stand behind this new alignments that were happening in the region, basing on a gas issue at the one hand. And in this gas alignments that was facing against Turkey, TRNC, and to some extent to Russia, and you can also extend it to Iran perhaps in geopolitical wise, and in which this new gathering of alignments, which has fed the polarization more and more, and also militarization in the region. I was in 2017 in Northern Republic of Cyprus, working at a private university there. And at that time, EastMed was so crowded. We knew that there were nearly 47 different national naval presence was there. So it was a bit crowded. So it has got, once polarization was increasing within the passage of time, militarization was also accompanying it. Anyway, so this polarization in IR terms, in realistic way, has triggered counter-polarization in which Turkey, together with TRNC, tried to resist to this illegal gathering. And finally, another events has triggered this coming back of, great power rivalry to this region, which has become a part of this, gas-based polarization, meaning EU to US was supporting this alignment as against Turkey and others. And Russia was there, of course. She was there once since 2015 that they have come to Syria through the back door to Middle East, where they have left it at the end of the Cold War, as you know. And then it is the, Arab Spring and post-Arab Spring effect, where we have seen MENA region quite fractured. We have seen all these, the failed and failing states where these power workings have been fulfilled with, either returning back some of the tutelage systems or again fulfilled by multiple terrorist organization. And this has given an excuse for external powers to intervene to this region, which has brought more chaotic situation and stability. And so this situation has triggered at the strategic level, as I said, this great power rivalry. And also at the regional level, we have seen that, again, this polarization has found a way, and where we have seen proxy wars and civil wars, where regional actors has got involved. But once we get into the towards to 2021, the alignments of this new era until 2021 that was formed, whether it was gas-based, whether it was something else, not to mention there was the introduction of Abraham Accords within this period as hope to bring peace to this region. And so what is interesting, as I said, these alignments in character was totally different, the ones that we know between the first period of Cold War that we happen to see for about 45 years, which has ended in 1989. And these were flexible, and the countries that get into it, they were benefit catchers. They are there to benefit from this gathering of alignment belts. And also, as I said, they were not ideologically based. So they were not hard shells like that used to be in the Cold War years. So once we approached 2021, the countries that got into these, alignments that was opposing as against Turkey, TRNC, and as others, they have make a calculation. They have seen that the weight of costs was overweight the benefits, and the region has got quite tired of conflicts. It has been there for about at the end of the at the end of the Arab Spring and its aftermath. So they decided to go a different path, which we call normalization period. And that is how we have started developing hopes for the change in geopolitics for the energy in this time interval. And that is how we have seen, 4 types of normalization has got realized, first among the GCC states after Al-Uta agreement. And then we have seen Israel has signing these Abraham Accords with 2 GCC states and 2 African states. And then again, Turkey has developed and bettered its relations. Previously, it was competing in gas issue and other matters in EastMed with like Israel, Egypt, UAE, and Saudi Arabia. And finally, again, we have seen that, a big normalization has been witnessed via the help of mediation of China between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And this has also found its positive ramification, as our first presenter has presented. And it was the realization or accomplishment of this Lebanon and Israeli, delimitation of maritime agreement has come into force. And and later on this year in June 23, we heard that another agreement has come into being, and between Palestinian National Government and Israel. And so this, among the situation of normalization period that we were going until October 7th of this year, we knew that relations between Israel, this previous plans of transporting excess of gas of Israel to Turkey and as an alternative to Russian gas to Europe was about to be accomplished, and we knew that this was coming up. So does, as again it has been mentioned, that TPO could have a role playing in this Lebanese and Israeli deal. Was also being heard. But again, when we have this new geopolitical unexpected situation, the war that was going on between Hamas and Israel is of course affecting the relations among the states of EastMed. But what is interesting, according to general conviction, this region was first of all considered as EastMed as a sub-region. And previously, according to Professor Michael Tanto, until it was recognized as a great power rivalry arena, like 5 or 6 years ago, until Pompeo, U.S. Secretary of State, has declared this region as a strategic front for, USA. We know that it was a local issue of what it matters among the states of this region, whether it's about gas, whether it's about sovereignty versus counter-sovereignty rights, maritime boundary issues related, or whether it is a migration issue. So it was thought to be a locally dealt issue by then. But very recently, when this rise of new Cold War, has become a reality for the region, and this EastMed was considered to be a first site of confrontation, both at strategic level and regional level, we happen to see that this area, namely Eastern Mediterranean, has become a great strategic value. It has gained a great strategic value. But what is common about and what has not changed over the years, that we have witnessed, especially after 1989, this region has included both cooperation and confrontation tides together existing at the same time. So this doesn't change. What I'm trying to say is that though it has not these characteristics of itself, having both confrontation and cooperation happening at the same time, this trend, when we look at the picture of EastMed, does not give any chance of bringing of regionalization of this place. But on the other hand, it gives us an opportunity to develop cooperation. That is what our president previously at the UN General Assembly has offered for the littoral states plus TRNC to come to the table to talk about in line with win-win mindset where everyone could benefit from cooperation on an issue base. You can start on any issue, not only regarding the gas resource that we are talking about here, but this might have spillover effect in a positive way in the future, in which you might have, opportunity of islands of cooperation and stability. So within the characteristics of these opposing tides, cooperation and conflict that we are seeing at this moment, which is important conflict that we are seeing that is happening. It's the Hamas and Israel war. Hope it can end some very immediately. That's what Turkey is diplomatically is trying to find a solution with others. But within this atmosphere, there is a hope that Turkey and others can find ways on the issue base, including gas reserves, exploration, etc., to cooperate one another. And as previously speaker has said it, for instance, in this Lebanon and Israeli maritime delimitation agreement, TIPO has a great chance that he has mentioned. I also believe in so. So that is going to be my takeaway. And also in one small parenthesis, I should add that very recently Turkey and Greece has brought about a new thaw in their relationships that could also bring a kind of a positive incentive for the EastMed to find ways of issue-based cooperation, including in this matter, it is the gas resource that we are talking about. Thank you very much. This is my takeaway for this moment. Thank you very much.
Okay, we thank you very much, Nurşin Hocam. Your very good briefing make me excited about the topics, because this normalization period and the latest fall of normalization, you combined two things in this session. We will also have another panel for the fall of normalization, but you summarized the issues very well, and we are very thankful for providing us this view of summarized, very short but very effective brief on the geopolitics of the EastMed energy.
Thank you very much.
And Wissam, Edmund, Chabat, we have listened our previous panels, and we saw that there is a resource, there is what to do list, and there is a dialogue in the region. despite the conflicts.
Yeah.
So what can we, how we can proceed on the geopolitics, how we can go ahead?
Okay, thank you first for the invitation. Thanks for your guests who gave very good insights and covered the subject pretty well. I'll try to share my presentation, though I send it on WhatsApp in case it doesn't work. Just,
Okay, I am doing. Just a minute.
I can do it myself. I'll try because maybe
No, it's okay.
you want to do it.
It's on the screen now.
Okay. It has some animation, so I will bother you a lot with pressing on the screen. So basically, you know,
You
our
can
area.
move the slide by yourself. Just moving the mouse on the panel on the screen.
I can do it.
Yeah, there is a slide 1 and arrow there. When you move the mouse on the screen, you will see that it disappears and comes back.
Give it.
Yeah, then you can go right arrow to proceed. Yeah, did you?
No, I cannot see it anyhow.
Just move the mouse on the screen. Just move it.
I'm moving the mouse.
Sometimes it makes this kind of faulties, I think. Sometimes it works, sometimes disappears. Yeah. Okay, I can move it.
So anyhow, if you want, this area, basically, this area is not only active geologically. Okay, it's active also geopolitically, as Dr. said before, because you have this long history of confrontation. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can. It's okay.
It's
the
okay. So
presentation now on the back screen. I'm checking it.
Okay. So basically, you have this long history of confrontation and collaboration, which in some places ended up for all the countries of the EastMed to try to exploit the resources, because at some point of time when the confrontation was too high, there was no activity. When the collaboration was coming in, there was some activity, and this is how the people of this area managed to at least prove some of those reserves and try to exploit them and monetize them. So in my discussion today, or my presentation today, I'll go from a broad perspective into and zoom in, if you want, to this area, because the gas, I would say, dynamics is not isolated for the EastMed from the global gas dynamics. So we'll characterize first the hydrocarbon risks and challenges being above ground and below ground. Then we'll talk a little bit about the availability of gas and why it is important as a commodity, and why all these things are happening around the areas where we have gas and the areas where we have consumers of gas. This impacts directly the energy security. Geopolitics impact directly the energy security, which is one of the main pillars that should be looked at when looking at the exploitation of resources. Then we'll cover a bit the EastMed, the exploitation challenges, and we should not forget Turkey's strategic location, okay, with the new discoveries in the Black Sea, and being a route. We'll cover this briefly during the discussion. And the EastMed alliances, why they are made, what is the main objective of these alliances? Basically, it's not what is being said, but we'll look at it. And as Dr. Nursin said before, I'll take a glance at the Lebanese-Israeli Maritime Boundary Agreement and how it helped, though we are two enemies and there is no chance of normalization, how it helped for both countries to move forward with the gas exploitation, which is a model that could be repeated or adopted maybe regionally. Okay, so can you please, sorry, I cannot do the mouse thing. Okay, so, well, if we look at the hydrocarbon, risks and challenges, we can put them into two groups, the below ground risk and above ground risk. Below ground risk are, if you want, the acts of God, the geological risk, the system, as Dr. Tabiat mentioned before, all these seismic data will give me a sort of mitigation about the underground risk. petroleum system challenges, reservoir quality, trap, seal, and all these parameters. And then, because of being deep water, we have the development and production challenges in the EastMed. This can be grouped under the below ground risk. The above ground risk, notably geopolitical risk, as a result of maritime disputes, the risks on monetization of the assets, and the delivery of the commodity. Gas can be delivered in one or two ways, either through a pipeline, which has to cross many countries, or through liquefied natural gas, which has to be shipped via ships, but also it poses geopolitical risk. Also, we have the stability in the legal, fiscal, and contractual frameworks as a risk above ground, the markets and the prices, the cycle of the supply and demand. The climate change initiatives are also a political and geopolitical risk as well, has to be looked at this as such. And we have the major energy security issue that has been shaken recently with all the developments happening around the world, and the resulting energy transition. So if we look at the right-hand side with this small loop or cycle, it is somewhat a vicious cycle that has to be controlled with a very specific balance. Because if we look at the climate change initiatives that has to be adopted, basically limiting the temperature increase below 2 degrees for the century, this will trigger a lot of investments into energy transition, which means we have to replace fossil fuel with renewable energy. And this could create, if done very fast and recklessly, could lead to energy security issues. Okay, leading energy security issues will also make the resources unavailable and unaffordable, which would go through the consumer pocket, and the consumer will start to find or to look for cheaper options, which will, most of the cheaper options would impact the climate again in a negative way. So there is an equation or the equilibrium that we have to strike between energy security and energy transition in a way to preserve the climate. And this is a major geopolitical risk as well, because we have countries that are below poverty level, and they are now picking up and developing, and they don't have access to energy. So they will first try to look for cheap energy. And when this happens, this will impact the climate issues. So there is also this axis that we have to look at. Definitely, all the, I would say, the challenges and all the COP meetings are giving gas the right to be the bridge fuel that will move the energy transition forward for several decades. And this is what makes also gas as an important commodity, okay, for globally and for the world. So there is a catalyst, global catalyst, being the climate change initiatives, which is enhancing gas as a bridge fuel. So I just wanted to go a little bit through the reserves and the production of those of this commodity. The first graph, which is in red, details and you will understand why our area or our region is very, very dynamic, because the top three, I would say, reserves owners are Russia, Iran, and Qatar. Okay, and these are mostly in the eastern, I would say, camp. If you say in the eastern hemisphere, let's not go politically. It's the eastern hemisphere, and they are producers. While you know the consumers, or the, I would say, the production is different in terms of priority, in terms of sequence. Not the largest reserve owner, which is Russia, is the largest producer. Okay, we have the USA with the new shale revolution being the largest producer, and this puts this commodity automatically as a struggle point between the main producer and the main reserve owner. And this is, in my opinion, what we are seeing basically happening in the current events that we are seeing in Eastern Europe between Russia and Ukraine. And the fact that the flow of gas from Russia was stopped by force, okay, while we had this accident in Nord Stream 2. So this is just small parentheses, okay? So we can see how the game is playing between the reserve owners and the producers who try to find a market for their gas, okay? Please. I wanted to show this. If you look at the image, we can see in light green these are the pipelines, gas pipelines, and in pink these are the oil pipelines globally. Okay, what we can see here that the majority of the lengths of the pipelines, 84% of the lengths of the pipelines globally, are gas pipelines. Okay, which shows that the initial route of transport of gas is through pipeline, which is not the case for oil. Okay, oil is majorly exchanging hands between producers and consumers through pipeline, yes, but with a lower extent than gas, but majorly through ships. So this is why globally oil prices are known, oil prices are predictable, and they fluctuate due to geopolitical risk, but in a tight, I would say, window, because you have always a safety net to deliver oil through ships in case oil pipelines are not used due to a certain geopolitical reason. So this is very important to look at. If we look at the American continent, and with the recent crisis that we had when we had the war between Russia and Ukraine, gas prices went very high, maybe 6 or 7 times globally. Okay, while gas prices in the northern US or northern America, the Henry Hub, barely fluctuated. Okay, why? Because it's isolated geographically, geopolitically isolated from the crisis. Okay, and the gas continued to be delivered to consumers without any issue. You can still hear me, right? Hello?
Yes.
You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I
Hello?
hear you.
Yes. Okay. Can we go back just for the previous slide, please, sir? To continue. Okay. So what is happening now, the transformation in the gas delivery, which is a major energy security issue and geopolitical issue, the transformation that is happening is through virtual pipelines. So there is more focus on delivering gas like the same way that oil is delivered through ships, which is the LNG. So this will reduce over time, but in the long term, will reduce the impact of geopolitics on gas as well. Okay, with the new producers coming on stream and with this new transportation mean, we will have less dependency on natural gas pipelines. This doesn't mean that there is no gas that's going to be transported via pipeline, but there will be more flexibility, and we will start to see unified prices of gas globally rather than being affected regionally with conflicts. Please, next slide. So I just want to show this map to show, you know, my predecessors have already covered this in length, but just want to show that if we take, for instance, Turkey and Greece, we have conflict on the maritime boundary between Turkey and Greece and between Turkey and South Cyprus. Okay, we have a conflict between Lebanon, not a conflict, but basically misalignment between Lebanon and Syria on the maritime boundary in the North Lebanon. And recently, we have finished the agreement with Israel, but before that time, it was a serious conflict that was forbidding Lebanon from exploiting its resources in the southern maritime boundary. We have a non-confirmed border or non-ratified border between Lebanon and Cyprus, South Cyprus. And there is also some related matters between, I would say, Israel and Gaza now, with the discoveries offshore Gaza that has been stranded for a long time. Okay, so this is just to show that we need to find a creative way if we want to exploit those resources. And there was some friction points in the past in 2018 when the Italian Eni company in the southern blocks of Cyprus, close to the Lebanese border, the Turkish Navy stopped the drill ship, and the drill ship pulled out. So this is just to show how tense could be the exploitation and exploration of gas. And whenever we have things can go smoother. Next slide, please. I just want to focus a bit on the Turkish on the Turkey role or position, which is strategically positioned to receive first the eastern gas from Russia and from the Caspian, okay, and deliver it to the largest market nearby, which is Europe, plus use it internally for its own usage. And this position was enhanced, I would say, with the discoveries in the Black Sea, where for now Turkey has proven reserve of around 700 billion cubic meters that could satisfy the local demand for the next 15 or 20 years. This has given more stamina to Turkey in the negotiations, I would say, regionally, because there is no more pressure on Turkey in terms of, compromising, because the energy security internally is satisfied with the new discoveries in the Black Sea. So Turkey could be, I would say, more aggressive or more demanding in its negotiation with the surrounding countries. So this is a position, or this is a situation where Turkey naturally could expand to the Eastern Mediterranean, I would say, resources, notably maybe into Lebanon, because Lebanon has been underexplored for some time and we need to have more activity. And this alliance could be of benefit for everybody. Please, next slide. Okay, I can see this this slide fully, but it had to be anyhow one by one. But let me just summarize. This is a more I would zoom in to the Lebanese, Cyprus, Israel part of the Egyptian offshore, where we can see the play type extensions from offshore Palestine into Lebanon and also into South Cyprus, and the activity of the companies operating there, where they will not be able to extract. Let me give an example here with the Aphrodite field discovered near the Israeli border in South Cyprus. To my knowledge, this has been discovered back in 2010. Until today, after 13 years, there is no approved plan for the development. So there is a big curse for the EastMed gas, which is a stranded gas. Okay, and this has fluctuated from either financial, being high cost, or also not being able to deliver this gas to the nearest markets. So these two points also contribute to the stranded gas curse, I would say, and this cannot be resolved unless there is collaboration and cooperation between the countries who are in the region. For us, we know that there is one collaboration that will not happen between Lebanon and Israel, because we will not normalize it at any time. But however, being two enemy states, we were able to strike an agreement on the maritime boundary, which is a win-win situation for both parties. Please, if you can, next one. Okay, next one, please. This is okay. This is my last slide. I want to talk a bit about the agreement, okay, between Lebanon and Israel. This has been lasting since 2007. 4 different mediators, American mediators, interchanged roles. Initially, the Israeli side were playing the clock. They were not serious in negotiations. Starting 2010, several proposals were put on the table. But at the end of the day, when Israel was about to start production from the Karish field and brought in the FPSO to produce, this was not secured. Basically, there was some security incidents that triggered the attention of both the American mediation and the Israelis that they cannot produce gas from a troubled area without an agreement with the country nearby. Though we are enemies, and we could find an area of a win-win situation for everybody, and this unlocked the exploration that has been pending offshore Lebanon in the south, and we drilled the exploration well in Block 9 on the border facing, Karish in October 2023. And the Israelis started production from the Karish field end of November last year. So the agreement as well does not look only at the line or the maritime boundary line, it looks at the subsurface. So in the event, because this border is some 120 kilometers long, so if there is any subsurface cross-border deposits, there is a framework in the agreement that describes the way these, cross-border resources could be developed. Okay, moving between two lines, avoiding normalization and not delaying exploitation. Okay, and this has been very well detailed in the agreement. I can end here, and I think this is what I wanted to say, and I thank you for this opportunity.
Okay, we thank you very much, Mr. Chibat. We have very good presentations today. We have very good informative panel related with the geopolitics. I think the latest situations made us disappointed about the progress on the region. Despite the last 2 years, it was very positive on the EastMed side for the regional countries and the people of the regional countries. But this disappointing events, especially the 7th October, it started as an operation, then it becomes a war, and nowadays the latest situation, it becomes a massacre operation. So these things are very problematic for the region, for the countries, and for the social demography to make cooperation together to benefit from the resources of their own maritime boundaries, resources. As Nurşin Hocam described this fall of normalization, but at the very beginning there is a normalization started up. I would like to ask a question about the normalization started with the Abraham Accords. How do you see the future of it? Because at the first period of Netanyahu, it started with 4 countries, and in the second period of Netanyahu, from the beginning of this year, it is expanded with another. So it gives the region that it can be a normalization attempt to use the resources and the route to use in the benefit of the people and the countries. But following these events, and when the Israel attacks or counterattacks become a massacre structure, how it can be, how it can go on? Let me ask you, please, could you inform us what's your opinion on the further normalization efforts related with this Abraham Accord? Your voice, your microphone is closed, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Okay, now you can hear me, I guess. Okay. First of all, Abraham Accords was projected as peace agreements to the region, which is not. I mean, first of all, technically, these states that we have mentioned, Bahrain, UAE, Morocco, and Sudan has never fought with Israel. So from very beginning outset, it was not a peace agreement that it was projected to the region. It was hope, and it was a fallacy. We have seen that as an evidence of this ongoing massacre, the war that has turned out to be this Hamas and Israel war, has proved one thing. This agreement that was projected to the region, bilaterally signed with these four countries, hope to bring to the peace. But the main, problem was related with that these agreements try to avoid the major issue of Palestine, which has been there in the Middle East between Israelis and Palestinians, the legitimate rights of existing Palestinian government according to 1979 accords and so on and so forth. It's a long history, and the main idea was that with avoiding this Palestinian issue in these agreements, Abraham Accords, it was thought that it was fallen behind the focus of international society or international system that we are living through, especially started with Arab Spring and its aftermath. That is true. This was the fallacy that without focusing on the Palestinian issue in the Middle East, you cannot solve anything, not only just bringing a ceasefire or a peace to the region. You need to deal with the Palestinian issue. October 7th and its aftermath has proven for international society that these Abraham Accords lacks one important thing. This was previously have been debated among the IR scholars from the moment it was accomplished. Palestinian issue, the privileges or the legitimate rights that the Palestinians do have in this region and at their home base needs to be revisited, and these rights has to be granted somehow under any kind of agreement. And there were several UN resolutions that is there to deal with this, but up until now these were somehow denied by the Israeli different governments. And as I said, these Abraham Accords were introduced without giving any attention to the real problem that exists since from the formation of Israel government since 1948 onwards. And now, when we come back to the future of Abraham Accords, first of all, there was expectation before October 7th that Abraham Plus agreement was about to come between Israel and Saudi Arabia. And it was, MBS has said that it was just about few days that this new agreement under the normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia was about to be realized. And after October 7th, this has been shelved. So what I'm trying to say is that, I mean, in other fields of cooperation among these four countries with Israel is not on hold, but the basic idea of projecting these agreements as bringing peace to the region has evaporated because it didn't have any base. You cannot bring peace to the region without focusing on guaranteeing Palestinians as people of Palestinian and their legitimate right of existence and their government. So that is where we stand. And Abraham Accords, if needs to be efficient in the future and to help bringing peace to the region, it has got to involve Palestinians' rights and their, right of existence. It has to be revisited and reorganized. This is, I would say, here at this moment. Thank you.
We thank you for your opinions. And one more question for Mr. Chabat. After these recent events, do you think that there can be more exploration and more drillings can be achieved in the Lebanese offshore maritime during these problems, during this war? Can it be possible for a company to do these drillings and make it useful for the Lebanese and the other other countries' maritime resources, such as the Turkish TPA, can come and do this, or any company?
Well, first,
Or
I agree.
everything is frozen now, or do you think? Or
Yeah,
everything
no, definitely, definitely. I agree with Dr. Nursi first that we could not end up giving painkillers to solve a long history problem, which has to be ending in a just and equitable solution for the Palestinian people. So this is number one. Else, we will be going from a cycle to a cycle. Okay, if you look back in the recent history from, let's say, 2014, 2020, 2021, 2022, you always had this cycle, okay, of violence because the resolution was not just and there is no real visibility for that problem. So that affects definitely the stability in the region, and by proxy affects the appetite of companies to come and invest in a troubled area. However, in case that there is a sort of a just solution in the near future, I think this will be an extra boost for many international companies to come to the region. Now, this is the category of companies who are basically studying the region and don't move into a new region where you have high risk. But let's look at the companies who are already in the region, basically, okay? Either European companies or notably TPAO. Those companies are used to this kind of, I would say, instability, and they are a sort of adaptation. Adaptation rate is high. So I think, let's say, if TPAO would like to invest in Lebanon in some of the central blocks or northern blocks, away of the southern border, I don't think there should be a mistake or should be a problem now, even now. But however, definitely, with all these fleets in the region and all these ships in the region, it's very hard to conduct normal operations. We have to see, to wait for the dust to settle. And then I'm sure that there will be a new wave of exploration and exploitation, which is faster and stronger than before, because this gas is definitely needed. And the importance of this area being a strategic area, as defined earlier, justifies the speed of investment that will flow into this area after, hopefully, the just solution. Okay.
Okay, I thank you very much for your brief, informative briefings and presentations. We have concluded our panel from the Ankara Social Sciences University and TESPAM. Now we are using their premises. In another panel, we would like to meet again and discuss the latest situation once more. I thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Have a nice afternoon. Nice meeting you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Same with us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.